Sandeep Nadella from Team Reka. I'm going to demo the functionality of our app. So this is our app. So it has a few input fields. Let's start filling these. So first is a patient ID. So next is the patient name, age. So when we click on run, a database will be created with all the sensor readings. So before we do that, let me show you all the location of it. So currently I didn't click on run. So here we can see on the SD card, that is under MNT SD card location. So under Android data, there are only two folders. So I go back to the app and I click on run now. So the sensor data gets plotted now. So let me change the sensor value so that the graph will be visible. So I start with the X value, so we can see that the graph gets plotted. So the readings are taken after every second, so they are taken at a frequency of 1 Hertz. So even we can rotate the device to get these readings. Yeah. So I click on stop and the graph gets clear. So the values are now stored into the local database. So we go back to the device file explorer, click on synchronize, and here we can see the folder. So this is our DB file that got created. Next, let's have a look at its schema. So I'll save it. I'll save it to a file location, that is downloads. Replace it. So this is the file that I downloaded from the device. Yeah. So let's explore the schema of it. So here we can see the table that got created. So let's look at the data and the conditions. Yeah. So this is the data that got stored in the DB. So this is the timestamp, X value, Y value, and Z value of the accelerometer sensor. So the time value is stored in milliseconds. So here we can clearly see like everything is a real data time. Next, moving on. So we click on run, and just to check the edge case, yeah, we click on run again. So the data doesn't get cleared, or the plot doesn't start again. Next, we click on stop. So the graph got cleared, and when we click on stop again, so nothing happens as expected. Next is the upload functionality. So I have a local server running. So this is the URL of that server. So this is a PHP script. So it actually moves the uploaded file to a uploads directory. So this is a PHP script, and currently this uploads directory is empty. Let's go back to the app and let's click on upload. So here we can see that the DB got uploaded to the server. So this file that is there on the device got uploaded to the server. Now server has this file. We can use the same file for the download functionality. So but before we go till there, like we can see that when we click on upload, the status of the upload is being shown on the screen as well. So load again, just so uploading file, upload started, and then file upload complete. Yeah, it gets overwritten on this. Next, so let's check the download functionality. So currently, when we check in the device file manager, we click on synchronize. So currently there's only one folder with a DB file. This DB file was uploaded to the remote server, the remote as in the local host, and then for us now. And when I click on download, a new folder should be created with the downloaded content. I go back to the device. So my download URL is actually pointing to my uploads folder. So here we can see that. So the server actually serves this. So yeah, getting back to that. So once we click on download, it fetches that file and plots the 10 last readings from the database. So I click on download now. So download is completed. So here we can see that the values are being plotted. Yeah, so 10 values got plotted. Let's see in the device file explorer. I'm just synchronizing it. Yeah, so here we see the download folder. So under this, we see this database. So this is actually fetched from this server. So this is the one which got downloaded onto the device, and from this, the values were plotted. Okay. Yeah. So that's it for the demo. Thanks for watching. Hi, this is Sandeep Nadala from Team Takam. Now I'm going to go through the run button functionality. So inside the onCreate method, we initialize the layout. So we set the activity graph plot. We then register the broadcast receiver for on download complete, and then we set the on click listeners for all the buttons. So this is for the run button. So when the run button is clicked, we initialize the graph. So here we can see like all the parameters that are set on the graph, like the stroke width, the paint color and all. So going back, we then check for the storage permission. So if the permission is granted, we start with the sensor data collection. Else we request for the storage permission. So on getting the permissions, we start with a session. So here we start creating the tables. We try to construct the table name. So here we can see that I'm fetching all the field values and I'm concatenating them. And then I stop this local data feeder. So this is used for feeding in the data when the download button is clicked. And then I start adding the data. So inside add data, here we can see that I'm assigning a runnable to the graphics access runner, and I'm setting the delay and the paint and all. So if the stop button is clicked, then yeah, I'll be like making those invisible over here. And this part of the code is for the local data feed. Going back, and then I start the sensor. So I register for the accelerometer sensor over here. So once the sensor is registered, whenever the sensor data changes, this method gets called. So here I check if it's the accelerometer sensor, and then if this flag is set, then I check if the graph needs to be plotted. Then if the current timestamp is ahead of the previous timestamp by a second, then I take in the sensor reading and I put it into the database. So this is a method for inserting into the database. So here I'm plotting the graph, I'm setting the values. Yeah. So after this, yeah, whenever the application is paused, I unregister the listener. So I won't be listening for the sensor change events, and I close the OpenDB. And then whenever the app is destroyed, I close out the OpenDB and I'll unregister the receiver for download completion. Yeah, and these are all the methods for requesting the permissions and handling these things. Yeah, so yeah, that's it from me. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, this is Sai Kiran. I'm going to explain the SensorDB module. Here we are creating database tables for fetching and setting sensor readings in tables. Here the column names in the database table are timestamp X, Y, Z values. Here creating a table with a given name if it doesn't exist. Here the list of all sensor readings from the database from the table name set. Here dropping the table with the table name used while creating the table. Here inserting the sensor recording data into the table. Here we are getting the last 10 sensor readings from the given table of the current database. Here we are getting the indexes based on column name specified. Here reading the values of the row using indexes. Reversing the order of elements in the sense we need those in ascending order.
Srivan. On clicking the upload button, the upload function gets called. Here in the upload function, this is the URL to upload, which is shown here. Then here we set the request method to post and the request property connection and keep alive. Then we set the encoding type to multipath form data and the content type to multipath form data with boundary. then the file to upload to the file name, which is the source file URI. Then again, the content disposition is set to form data with name being file to upload and the file name being the file name. Then we start writing the bytes into the HTTP data output stream. Here we take the bytes read size. If it is greater than 0, we write it. Then we read the server response code. If the server response code is equal to 200, then we display the file upload is completed. If not, we show that the file upload has failed and got response code. And we then close all the data output streams and give out any exceptions if there are.
My name is Sandeep Balaji. I'll be explaining the down button functionality. So on clicking the down button, first we check if the storage permission is given. So if the storage permission is not given, so we then prompt the user to actually grant the permission, and then even if then the permission is not granted, we will not continue with the next functionality. If the permission is granted, then we call the download file function. So here the begin download function is called. So first again we check if the storage is writable, and then we check if the directory that we want to download exists. If it doesn't, we'll then create the directory, and then check if there are other files previously downloaded. So if other files are existing, we'll delete that, and then we'll use the download manager class to request to do a get request to the URL and then download the file. So while doing that, we'll set this necessary information to download the file. We'll set the URL, and then we'll set the title, download file name, and everything, and then call this get system service to download the file, and then we enqueue it, and then which will put into the download request queue. So if there are any exceptions, we'll catch it here, and then we'll put a toast.